The very first shot of Apex is a close-up of Charlize Theron's hands as she superglues her cracked fingers. The sensation radiates through the screen. When she peeks her head out from the safety of her tent a moment later, the camera slowly, almost fearfully, follows, revealing she's camped on the face of a snowy cliff, absurdly high above the ground. This opening encapsulates the two extremes that define Netflix's new thriller, releasing on April 24. You'll go from feeling awe and terror at a natural landscape as beautiful as it is deadly to involuntarily wincing at the physical pain of surviving it. Screen Rant's latest cover story dives into the challenge of making this movie, which featured prominently in our 2026 spring movie preview, with stars Charlize Theron and Taron Egerton and director Baltasar Kormaker, who reveal that none of what ended up on screen came easy. They share their experience filming most of Apex on location in the Australian wilderness, the background of Egerton's fascinating villain, and the physical toll of doing as much of the practical stunt work themselves as they could. Along with these interviews, we're unveiling exclusive new production stills of the two stars pushing themselves to their limit against the stunning, unforgiving backdrop of New South Wales. Deciding to shoot in Australia changed everything for Apex. When Kormaker, an Icelandic filmmaker with plenty of experience in the survival genre, signed on to Apex, the script already existed. The bones of the story, an experienced climber, Theron, going solo into the wilderness only to end up pursued by a psychotic hunter, Egerton, were there. But he by no means felt hemmed in. Instead, he was drawn to how open it was for interpretation. It was a very lean and simple kin. One of the biggest changes was the location. The movie was originally intended to be set in the United States, more specifically, Yosemite National Park. But Kormaker wasn't convinced. "I thought, we've seen that a lot," he recalled. "As beautiful as it is, I didn't feel it was quite where I wanted to go." However, as prep work on the movie continued, it became clear that production needed to take place during what would be the North American winter. There were conversations about shooting it in the Southern Hemisphere, potentially Australia, and letting that stand in for the US. To the director, who was starting to get excited about the new setting, that plan didn't make much sense. And so I go, why don't we take it all the way, and make it about the ruggedness? I was so excited about that place. I just wanted to dig in, and kind of make our own place there. That wasn't just a turn of phrase either. Though much of Apex was filmed in the Blue Mountains National Park in New South Wales, including many places the movie's Australian crew had never been to, the landscape as shown is an invention. "It's not like, oh, this is the place they're going through, and it's exactly like that," explained Kormaker. "It's more like a sacred place that is built out of different places, that creates its own unique place that maybe nobody has been to." For Charlize Theron, who was a producer on Apex as well as its star, this instinct of her director's was critical to the film's success. The aforementioned opening sequence, up in the snowy mountains? Not Australia. "I felt like the beginning of the film should be the opposite of Australia, hot versus cold," the director told us. "So that's when we found in the end the troll wall in Norway, which I think is amazing. I guess I like the extremes, let's put it that way." To survive a tough shoot, Apex's stars trained like never before. Kormaker's love of extremes goes beyond picking some of the most difficult spots in the world to shoot a major motion picture. His films often explore characters struggling through very difficult situations, and he likes to capture that struggle in camera. He also pushes his actors to do as much of that struggling themselves as they can. "That's kind of what my thing is," he admitted. Luckily, he had two very game stars in Charlize Theron and Taron Egerton, who pushed themselves in new ways to prepare for the shoot. Rock climbing, which her character Sasha does a lot of in this movie, was new to Theron, and excitingly different from the way she's prepared for action roles in the past. "I was stuck in martial arts world, and so that's a very specific way to train," she explained. "When you do martial arts, everything is to a T, and it's really, really tightly choreographed. This was really refreshing, because it wasn't technical like that. There's a risk to it. There isn't a formula to it. It wasn't like somebody could show you the way to do it. You had to figure it out. And so I'd never really done anything like that." Egerton, meanwhile, plays Ben, a dedicated outdoorsman and lethal hunter of, big game. He's bulked up for roles before, but this part required something other than the gym bro stuff he was used to. And it really paid off. Of course, the prep for Apex was more than just physical, and in the process of transforming the script into the film it became, Taron Egerton's Ben changed quite a bit. "It was very different on the page, the character," Kormaker said. "I was very open to finding something more unique and different. As a loner hunter who makes people his prey, Ben could have been just another example of the serial killer archetype that thriller audiences are well familiar with by now. Instead, thanks to the specificity of Egerton's performance, he's a truly compelling, frightening presence." Piecing together what motivates him to do this ends up as engaging as watching Sasha try and escape with her life. According to the filmmakers, all of that characterization was very much the product of exploration. When we met initially to discuss the possibility of him doing this, I remember I asked him if he was ready to show us his inner creep. You know, we, all, have that awkwardness inside of us, we know it's there, and are you strong enough to show that and allow the world to see that? Let's go in and find those insecurities, which makes the character very flaky and really difficult to put a finger on. And that's where we started building the character.